Welcome back to the Radio Horror YouTube channel. It's been a little while since we've had a review of a film. Hopefully you caught our last one, which was for the 20th anniversary of American Psycho. And there's not been any movies in theaters until recently, kinda, sorta. The drive-ins have been exploding, which is fantastic. Even though this film wasn't necessarily at the drive-in, I'm looking forward to the drive-ins coming back. Tonight we're going to talk about the new film based on the famous horror author Shirley by Josephine Decker, starring Elizabeth Moss. And joining me to talk about Shirley, this brand new biographical thriller, is the blonde in front of here, Katie.
Well, hello, ghouls and ghosts and female friends and male germs. Yes, we're going to talk about Shirley, directed by Josephine Decker. Now, I actually watched this online through the Aspen Film Festival, and this film stars Elizabeth Moss, Odessa Young, Logan Lerman, and Michael Stuhlbarg. Now, the cast is fantastic right from the get-go, and Elizabeth Moss, her transformation into Shirley Jackson is honestly astonishing. If we don't know who Shirley Jackson is, she is a renowned author who influenced many, such as Stephen King, Stanley Kubrick, and wrote The Haunting of Hill House and The Lottery. The film starts with Odessa Young and Logan Lerman, a young couple named Rosie and Fred, who are going to be staying with Shirley, played by Elizabeth Moss, and her husband, Stanley, played by Michael Stuhlbarg. Couple is supposed to be staying with them for a week or two. This definitely, as the movie goes on, you're realizing that they're staying there much, much longer. And Shirley gets her, I don't know, she kind of gets her mitts into Rosie, the young wife, but at the same time, I feel like Rosie kind of wants to have her have her mitts on her. Manipulation and madness of Shirley that infects this young woman is almost to the point where the two women become absolutely identical. And with the gentleman, it's very similar. They're, professors the men are both professors at a renowned university. And I don't know if you could tell when you watch this, audience, but I could very much tell that the infidelity, it runs rampant with both of them. Shirley and Rosie, they rely on each other almost to the point where it becomes unhealthy. Is a movie that it's not going to be for everyone. Like, I personally liked it because I thought the set design was fantastic, set in the 50s. I thought the performances were absolutely amazing. The direction was incredible by Josephine Decker, but at the same time, there's a few things going on, like with the character of Shirley. I mean, Shirley Jackson died at 48 years old. She was a mother of 4. You kind of get that she's definitely unhealthy in the film, but there are a few things that the film doesn't, or kind of misses regarding her life, that I feel like possibly could have made it better. Rosie, the young wife, is pregnant, which Shirley finds out right away, and that's definitely in this 1950s kind of era sort of thing. You get is the husband going to be happy whether it's if it's not a boy? And I'm like, wow, that's very sexist and mean, and how motherhood changes everyone. But you see Rosie become this somewhat timid wife who's doing what she's is told to do and stuff, to her own kind of force to be reckoned with. And whether that's because of Shirley or not, there definitely is an influence in that. I liked the film. I did. I thought Michael Stuhlbarg, playing Shirley's wife, Stanley Hyman, God, this guy can do so many things and is just a major chameleon, as is Elizabeth Moss, who is absolutely fantastic. It's nice to see Logan Lerman, who, many people will know from Percy Jackson, play an actual adult role. Like, he is not a kid anymore, and that's a different kind of role for him. And to me, this is one of my first films that I've seen Odessa Young in, who is definitely making a name for herself. Like I said before, this isn't going to be a movie for anyone, for everyone. There's a little bit of a slow pace to it, but I enjoyed the hell of it. I thought it was nice to see, mainly because this film would not be what it is without Elizabeth Moss. And she is the catalyst, not only as the primary character is Shirley, but just her performance is absolutely astonishing. So I recommend it, but again, watch this as a biopic and not thinking you're going to be watching, the films that or the stories that she wrote, like The Haunting of Hill House and The Lottery. There is a little bit of a mystery involved in the film that's kind of like a very subtle subplot that at least the women get almost too involved in, and I don't know, kind of takes away from the story a little bit. Again, I thought it was worth it. What'd you think?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
The entire time, I cannot stop thinking about Airplane after I watched this movie, and I was incredibly depressed after watching this movie. I had to throw an Airplane to pick me up again. A movie that is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year as well, if you can believe that, Katie.
I can definitely believe that.
But, full disclosure, I knew this was a biographical movie. I wasn't expecting it to be a horror story, but I was expecting some influences of horror. And the last biographical movie that I can remember off the top of my head watching was, around Christmas time, I watched The Man Who Invented Christmas, the story of Charles Dickens creating the Christmas Carol and how he wrote it in like 6 months. And he had to self-publish it and mortgage his house and everything. And he talked to Christopher Plummer playing in the subconscious version of Ebenezer Scrooge. I was kind of expecting more of that. I watched the trailer, but I didn't want to read anything about this movie before going into it. So I was a little bit disappointed. It wasn't as thriller-ish as I was expecting. It was definitely a lot more sexualized than I was way expecting. I did not expect the amount of adult material in this movie as much as I saw. I was familiar with Shirley Jackson having read The Haunting of Hill House and seen the TV series, and then read a couple of her books turned into graphic novels. But this is a film that you need to go into with a bit more of a documentary style feeling to understand the psychosis of Shirley Jackson. It's sad that she died so young at the age of 48. My hat's off to Elizabeth Moss and her performance for this movie. And this director, I might have seen his previous work, but I'm not entirely sure. But I definitely recommend it for somebody who is interested in Shirley Jackson as a writer, and if you don't know who she is and you may have only ever seen movies based on her work or the aforementioned Netflix television show, I definitely recommend checking it out, like Katie said. If you'd like to check out more of Katie's reviews, check out her website and her Facebook page. Check out the rest of her reviews here on the Radio of Horror YouTube channel. And we'll be back in a week or so with our next exciting review, Becky, the blonde in front of here on the Radio of Horror YouTube channel.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.